Oh, that's it, dude! Stop, stop, stop! Water! Ah!
We're going to show you how to paint RV cabinets and how we turned our kitchen cabinets and fireplace from this to this, and then this. To be clear, we're kind of winging it, and this isn't really a full-on tutorial, but rather a journey of our pain and suffering, which led ultimately to pretty great results, I think.
Do you ever have regrets?
No regrets!
My biggest regret? That I didn't do exactly what I wanted to do when we originally painted this about a year ago. There's two things that I'm going to update. For one, when you walk into here, this just gets tons and tons of high usage, and the paint has just peeled. Because it's already been painted, I'm going to have to do a little more prep than I normally would, and I'm excited because I've decided to change this up a little bit. This being white, and we're just always hitting it, the dogs, everything, it's not going to be white anymore. Now, the other big regret that I have is on me. I thought that replacing all the hardware was going to be super, super costly. So I took all the old hardware off. I spent hours and hours and like literally a couple days probably letting it dry in between to spray paint all the old hardware. And it did not hold up at all. We just spent about $50 on brand new hardware for the entire RV. I would have done that day one. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take off all the hardware. And there are 4 doors that I need to take off. Because we've had so many peeling paints and everything, I am going to sand. With BB Frosh, you don't need to sand as long as the paint, as the finish below is fine, but I'm gonna have to have that step in there. The other thing we're gonna do is finally finish the entire fireplace. You know how you have something and you look at it for a long time, you think, oh, that's so cool, and then you realize, gosh, if we just did a little bit more. So we're gonna also talk about updating that fireplace.
You have needs, wife?
It's been a minute and I don't remember how to change the bit on the drill.
This thing, you just twist it like this. Look at that.
And you just twist it back like
yeah, let it crunch a little bit. Yeah. How does that feel to accomplish that thing?
I just couldn't remember. This was a little worrisome to me because this like bubbled up and I thought, oh no, we have a leak, and it wasn't a leak. It was just bubbling paint.
And that's why you don't buy a vandalized RV, because, you know, it's a freaking pain.
It's supposed to start painting in a few hours, and after discovering that we had a leak when we were trying to paint, we realized that it was wet behind there. We had a leak. So we put on the heaters. I sanded as much as I could, and then we let it dry out, and it's dry. So we're gonna get the hose out and try to see if it's coming from windows, because it's near the windows, it's near the door, and it's on the roof. So those would be the obvious places that it's leaking from. I hope it's a window or something easy. Okay, we are testing the doors and the window. Oh, that's it, dude! Stop, stop, stop! Water! Ah!
We found it quick, at least not the roof. Oh, I can see water right here. So I think we need to buy 2 new seals, take the whole window off, and recaulk it, and that might fix it.
So dramatic.
This is that one that fell.
We had this sucker taped up for a long time.
I'm gonna want to continue on with painting. Our temporary solution right now is let's put plastic or something back over this window again.
I was gonna caulk at least this part while we're waiting for the other parts, but it's kind of pointless because once I get the parts in, I have to pull all that off. So for now, we're just gonna tape it to keep the rain out. And I know it's just paper tape, but it'll do something to keep the water out. If we still get water in there after that beautiful patch job, we know that it's maybe the roof or something else as well.
I hate messes. I'd rather spend the time, tape it, do it right, wear gloves, clean up, do all that. So I have a bunch of tarps in here that I'm gonna do. I have the blue tape, which I'm gonna tape like crazy. And here's what I'm gonna use for to help, and I've used this many times. So this is wood underneath here. And if I get paint on that, that's gonna be really challenging. Well, this wood actually can absorb oil, so I'm gonna use this, I'm gonna lay the tape down and then put this over the top just to get an extra barrier in case I hit on the top as I'm painting up here. One tip that I have, these go where plants sit when you water them, and you can buy these way cheaper than buying trays, and so I use these all the time when I'm painting. This is my BB Frosh. It's the paint transformer. I love this stuff. We'll link you to this below. I wish we had just started with this, because if we'd started with this, I would not have had to sand. I wouldn't be taking all this paint off, and I'm actually going to do the edge of this without sanding. So I have not sanded the edge, because with BB Frosh, because this was real wood, this didn't have anything chipping up from before, I can just use this and paint right over it. I was just gonna paint, and we discovered water, and then we've discovered the leak, and we figured that out, and then I keep discovering more water. I'm just looking in here so I can get, you know, make sure that this is not mold. It looks like it's just dust and dirt in here. It doesn't feel wet much on the back side, but at least I can get, with the heat gun, I can dry it on both sides. Make sure you clean these really well, just to get all the dirt. When I did the original painting on these, I had sanded these doors, and I did a really thorough job. So you can see they've held up really, really well as far as paint. Because of that, we get to use the BB Frosh with no sanding. However, there were some paint blob spaces, and if there's paint blobs or uneven chippiness, sand. And can you sand these RV papered doors? Absolutely.
What grit? Sandpaper?
The finest grit. I don't know. What did I use?
I think it's 150 grit.
Hey Trev, I know the difference between a Starhead and a Phillips, and I took these all off.
Did you use a star head or a square head?
I'm going to mix the BB Frosh. This is just a paint transformer. It makes the paint basically adhere to any surface. It is a powder form. Typically you would have an empty container. This I had a little bit of extra paint in, and I wanted to blend it with that paint, and it was already mixed with the BB Frosh from before, but it's a couple heaping teaspoons of the powder and then 1.5 teaspoons of water, and then you blend that, and then you add the paint to it and you shake it really well.
And is that a paint sprayer thinger?
It's the paint sprayer thinger, which is my freaking most favorite thing in the whole entire world. I will link you to this, and I've seen them on sale for as low as $69. And what I just measured out was for 8 ounces of paint to add to the BB Frosh mix. So I have the BB Frosh binder mixed with the paint in here already. This has an adjuster so you can adjust the flow, and it does tell you in the instructions for the sprayer which one to use for cabinets. This is a very good paint. This is a Sherwin-Williams specifically for doors and cabinets. So it's a very, very durable paint. It was not cheap. It was 60-ish, maybe $1 a gallon, maybe even slightly more. There are some coupon codes, so if you just Google, there's probably some coupon codes out there. But Sherwin-Williams, I would suggest always doing really good paint. These are special paint brushes for this painting technique, for this special chalk paint, and you paint in this hatch pattern. Kind of ugly when you do the first coat because of the technique, but then it blends in.
I was always taught that when you paint, you kind of go with the grain and go straight and stuff, and Leela's doing weird stuff which I don't understand, so I never explain what the freak she's doing.
I did go on BB Frosh, and I looked and watched several of their tutorials, plus it comes with the cutest little instruction book, and that is what they'd say. You need to use one of these brushes made for like a chalk painting, and I think it's just something with chalk painting, and that's how it works out. But you saw it looked really ugly before when you thought, I'm never going to get all these lines out, but it looks great.
So you use a funky brush and you do cross hash strokes instead of just straight lines.
Yeah, just read the instructions that it comes with. Super easy though. I'm just a ready dive, go do it person. So
because of the water damage that we had there, this stuff isn't terribly sandable. We're just going to reframe this in here. It should look pretty good when we're done. Leela's painted what we need to have painted over here, and anything that's not painted, we're going to just frame it with this same wood that we've used in other places in our house. We're ready to install the wood that we bought a kit, so everything's just pre-cut. You throw it in. Actually, no, I had Josh do it because he's better at this stuff. I just put some glue on this one because if I use a screw, it'll probably crack. The rest I'm going to screw them with these deck screws, and Leela's going to touch them up with the magic of a Sharpie or black paint or something so that they don't look gray. And I'm just going to work my way over, starting on this side. I'm just going to go right in the middle to decrease the odds of cracking. let me do the rest of these. We'll show what it looks like when it's all done. Black doors, this same color black, charcoal black. Screwing on the last of the wood here and getting these doors on here. I'm actually liking what you did here, Leela Jones.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
This fireplace is whatever, but we had Mason from Heinz Pond Millhouse make this cool shelf for us. But we wanted to kind of finish it off. This we never really stained. That was the base that we had. And we had a plan to upgrade the fireplace with wood, but we were putting wood around here and it wasn't looking right, so Leela decided to paint it black instead, and we're just gonna go with the black, right?
We are just going with the black, and sometimes that's how design happens.
Yeah. And we've got kind of an eclectic collection of wood and stuff up here.
That's like...
We did put the wood back in there. That's new.
Want to see how it came out? Let's have a look.
To see our other RV renovation videos, including the final reveal, click on that link right up there. We can't wait to share our adventures with you.